So I'd like to welcome everyone here today on this beautiful December 8th day, Saturday. This is Ryan, and this is being called Ryan's Wisdom, and it's light beings from beyond the veil. So feel free to ask any question that comes to mind. And really what I'd like to do is I'd even like to ask them if this can be an open forum, since the majority of people here have not got to experience and be with you. And beyond that open forum, I'd even like to ask you, the beings of light, to even speak a little bit about the power of trusting in self with even what we call all the mistakes we've made in this lifetime.
Greetings, and it is wonderful to be here among you. And a wonderful topic, we would say, a topic of one of trusting yourself. What a beautiful idea, beautiful ideology that is behind this. It is interesting because we would say most of everything you understand, we won't even say most. Again, there's a little bit of a language barrier here. All that you can ever know is all within yourselves. Know thyself. Be thyself. For that is what is going to be your external reality. The vibrations that you are naturally putting out all the time is from the emotional body. It is getting to know yourself. And you know yourself by the indicators that those vibrations are, those emotions are. You know if you are doing something that is congruent to what it is that you are, by how you are expressing yourself in all your dynamics of especially this human being type of a body, where it can express very much emotion. And yes, you have much drama on this planet, we would say. You have this ability to feel, to know if you are congruent with so much of who you are. So trust in those emotions. Those are great indicators, guides, if you will. The answers, the universe, from your perspective, you are truly the center of that universe. You see things through your own particular filters. You are understanding and coming to understand yourself in this way. Your inner being and your relationship to it is those indicators of how you feel about yourself on the emotional scale of things. So take a moment and understand this part of yourself, because the great answers and the truths that you have been asking for, many of you longing for. There's a saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and that is the truth among many of the things. But you must understand, it is not always what you want that you always get. It is the vibration that you are putting out on a constant basis that you are being brought back to. And so, for instance, in your reality, if you're wanting to see something and you really feel that this is going to be a true subject, you will see mirrors that are reflective of what you think should be happening externally, because it is already happening within internally. We will open it up for any questions. Any of you who are daring.
I do have a question. This is the very thing that I was thinking about. How do we access that better? I mean, we can our inner self. We do it through meditation. We do it through conversation with the universe. We do it by being open, but I know we don't get the answers to the kingdom, but is there any What roads can we go down to open ourselves up more?
The roads that you go down are so variety here on this planet. You can do so much with what you have already in your escrow of many things that you encounter on a daily basis. For just taking a road down the path of a nature walk, for instance, you would be able to take in and breathe in and feel and look and take in the serene details that are all around you. And that would be getting in touch with yourself in a sense. But you can also take in and understand a sense of yourself through the reflections of other people around you. For they are also reflections, especially take note of the ones that might seem to be a slightly different discord to who you are, because that is showing you something. For someone that is, for instance, maybe somewhat annoying in your reality around you, visibly, is going to be someone that we would almost look at you all as like a vibration and say, just like this beautiful place is, there's different keys, like a piano. And if you are one note just next to another person, it doesn't quite sound, doesn't feel very good. But as a whole, in the entirety of the piano, it completes itself, and it is completely supported by itself. But these two keys next to each other do not usually sound very good together simultaneously. And you are learning to harmonize with the other creators around you. And so you can understand yourself somewhat in these sorts of ways. Yes, we would say meditation is one good way to connect with yourself and all that there is. But there's many avenues, many tools. You are constantly do it, whether you are aware or not. When you are in the process of just even your thinking modes of thought are explanations of yourself. Meditating is a great way to gain a bigger perspective on things, to take less of an emotional attachment to such things, and to be able to look at it with a third sort of perspective. And so that's why we would mention meditation as a good way, as you have mentioned here, to connect with yourself in these ways. You are a vibrational being. Everything that you see, touch, smell is all nothing more than vibrations. And how your brain is understanding these things is vibrationally how you connect with this world and this reality. But what it is that you are is a multi-dimensional being. And so you can understand more of yourself by stepping somewhat away from such things and truly gain a new perspective on what it is that you are and can do with that creative power that you naturally inhibit.
Following Sylvia's question, how do we get out of our own way to get into the flow, the natural flow of things?
You are walking that natural flow now. You see, when you are ready, and we would have mentioned this in the past in other discords, but we have not mentioned it here among you. There is certain things that you can be doing that if you would like, you can simply ask and recognize for the synchronicities of who it is and what it is that you are, and your intentions, if it will be that. And you will start to recognize and see more of these things happening for you in your life if you so allow these things. Now, you need to take a better look at what your belief systems, your structures are. You have been conditioned in many ways to being and acting in a certain way on this particular plane of reality. It's not good or bad. It is just what it is. And so you look at yourself in certain ways in that sort of being. But we would say also you can walk with more of the following of your heart. And the balance between your heart and your mind is where you find much more congruent sort of a way of being. For what it is that your soul wants to truly live and be in a fulfilled part of your life. That is what we would like to expand here now with you all, is finding that joy, to walk in that bliss that you desperately all are wanting and are seeking different ways to go about it. But it's the vibrations that you are constantly in with internally that brings out your external world. You cannot be two different vibrations and in the same place. You are constantly creating your reality as you go along. So take responsibility in those things. And when you start to recognize that you are lining up and you see these synchronicities as you go on your path towards whatever it is that your objectives are, you will see that you are truly walking in grace in doing so.
We thank you for coming and for being with us today. My question revolves around those on this planet who have forgotten who we are. There is so much fear on this planet, and the chasm between those who walk in fear and those who walk in love is becoming wider and wider, and it's creating a lot of chaos and a lot of hatred and a lot of judging. Is there anything that we as light beings can do to ease the suffering of those who live in that fear?
Interesting questions. Because it is from their paradigm they are trying to do the same with other constructs that they live in. And part of what is happening here is you are beginning now in this particular times to be voicing more of your opinions, which we would say is an empowering way, in a way to trust thyself in a sense. But there is also somewhat of a chaos, and there is somewhat of a, yes, there is going to be playing out more of this, as there is discords, and as there are some that are still holding on to older paradigms that they are in. It is natural that there would be such of themes. But you must also know that this planet is also doing a great job as a whole bandwidth, and we would say bandwidth of vibrational beings, from the lowest to the highest. As each small increment is being made, the bottom is also bringing up, and the vibrations are becoming a little stronger, even with all the chaos and all the things. Now, we would say as a light being, it is not always going to be your personal responsibility to try to wake those up around you, for they are also on their own journey and wanting to experience this life exactly the way that they have designed it, the way they would like to perceive it. There will be some that will awaken from much of this and to come to understand things with a new sort of look as new ideas are being expanded here. And new possibilities are always being brought here and are grounded naturally through the vibrations that you are able to consume, to bring this in and ground these particular light forms. Light forms meaning wisdom that is coming here, technologies. It's all natural as the expansion of the human race is. It will continue to grasp more and more ideas. As you can see in the last few hundred years, this has been a very rapid pace as time is somewhat now condensing. And so much is being learned from all of these sort of dynamics that are happening here. And as a light being, you can, with the new understanding of what it is that you can be doing for yourself, can begin to change what is happening in your personal reality, that there is a dual reality between you, your vibration, and what is happening all around this world. And so there is somewhat of a change. You can begin to manifest new ideas and bring that forth. But we don't mean for you to take on the energy of everything that is happening simultaneously, for that is quite a task. but to truly center yourself. And when we say that, it means to go within, to know yourself, trust thyself. What a beautiful topic here now.
Is it possible for those of us in the present on this planet, on this earth, to be able to walk that beautiful walk and be in that spiritual place while we're on this planet, this earth?
Can you bring heaven to this earth in this lifetime? Absolutely. It is part of each of all of your pieces that you have come here to do. And you can do it. You can master this part of your life in one lifetime. It does not need to take many lifetimes. What is sacred and divine to you? What is fulfilling to you? What is your piece of light that you would like to express here? It is why you are here. As long as you are breathing, it is why you are here. So, begin to recognize the details of what it is that you enjoy. Take the aspects of what it is you like, the good of things. Notice that, and much of the rest will fall away. And you will begin to expand upon those things and recognize more and more and more. And you will be naturally drawn to what it is that you enjoy. And that truly brings more expansion to your life. That easily. Get happy.
Could you elaborate a little bit? You've spoken before, but not to this group, about the power of the heart, because it's of the magnetics, how it attracts and how it conditions, and how it even influences us in our thoughts. Could you just speak about that for a moment?
You are all beings, divine in nature. And as such, you can do so much with this ability. What it is that your heart does in certain ways creates, well, we have mentioned before, it's great indicators for yourself and where you are on your path. Much of this world has been in the mind quite a bit, has been led somewhat from the mind. It's not a bad or good thing, but there has been somewhat of a denial of the heart. What it is that you naturally want to become. You will always be walking towards those things that you want to become, but there is somewhat of a logical sense that says no. Your realities are expanding, and this is not such a fear-based world. That much of the judgments are beginning to dissolve as the countries and barriers that are happening around races. You are beginning to see the world is shrinking through the internets and through the other technologies you have. Cell phones, beautiful. There's so much happening here. Your heart is part of who you are as a divine being in the ability to magnetize all of what you are. Bringing in and attracting. It's, yes, part of the law of attraction, as someone is thinking here. Yes. You are naturally bringing this about. And you are allowing yourself these new ideas to come through you. There is an energy that is all around you. Your heart is a magnetic type of energy. You are also harmonizing with the other creators around here with the same sort of thing. It's always on a constant basis. You are attracting and you are bringing in things close to you, and you are analyzing them through the heart. As like a black hole that is in the universe. It is the same sort of principle. Every dynamic, every bit of being, human or may it be a plant, has a heart in this sense. And you can see it through the tube torus of the way it's structured. This is just a life force energy that we are talking about here, but this is much more than that. For your heart is where much of the keys of your dreams are that you can unlock for yourself, that it is all there. And you are constantly putting out these emotions that are emitting, and it is happening through even a small room like this, but the expansions of those vibrations are not just here, but it can be felt all throughout your planet. You're connected to the system of this wide consciousness. It is how you are very connected in this way.
So what crystallizes the path better? The inward look or the walk through the woods? Or the key at the far end of the piano?
What it is to you. It is going to be different for every vibration that is on this earth. For some, walking is the way, as they are able to take in new ideas and be able to disconnect somewhat from what it is that they are in. For another, it could be using the piano. It is going to be different for any sort of being and fashion that you enjoy things. For what is the joy for you may be entirely different for what is joy for another person in this room. We find it interesting with relationships in this way.
How does that differ from how you guys exist with your relationships?
Relationships here, well, there is a masteries that are happening. As you are progressing, we are progressing in our own sort of ways as well. It's not much different. It is just the look is entirely different. We recognize each being for its very entirety of importantness to the structure that we are. For there's always a master of something. You are all individually, human beings, are masters within themselves and are becoming of themselves. Individually understanding things that no one else would know. And that is a greatness. That is a light that can be harnessed. And as you are able to be on track with yourself, you will be very, very powerful. And you will trust what it is that you are. For you are connected and you are bringing your heaven to earth in that fashion. And that is creating a beautiful structure. And that's the construct that we are also on this progressive path on. Trying to understand what it is that we are. It is not much different than where you are. There's just a simple progression, an evolution of time and space. For you see things as a very linear path. It is a very individualized, as a small life is here. But it is your own dynamic. And you have much of this veil that creates some of this chaos that you are talking about. It's a natural thing, is what you wanted. So that you can have such a free life on this plane of reality. What a beautiful idea. And so you're getting your master's degrees on understanding yourselves with truly not remembering much about who you are in the entirety of what it is that you have had in your previous experiences.
As beings, as your beings, do you believe and use the law of attraction?
Absolutely.
To a great extent?
To a great extent, absolutely. You are a divine being, and it is an ongoing, whether you like it or not, as your thoughts are, you will continue. Where your focus is, where your emotions are placed, you will continue to attract. So be aware. Take responsibility of those things. For the external reality of what you are living is truly what it is that is going on within yourself. It's hard to look at that, but you are, yes, plugged into the great chaos of this universe. And so there's much happening. And know when you are truly trying to design and create something for yourself, that you are somehow plugged into this great cosmic universe. And as you add your particular love and light to this particular way of thinking, you're going to begin to imagine and you begin to access and ask, what is it that I can be doing? What is it that my particular love for what it is that I enjoy can manifest more fully, that I can be more fulfilled in this life, and you will begin to experience, and you'll begin to understand your own belief systems that are limiting you from these experiences. And you begin to take in the details that you enjoy from each being, each person, nature walk, whatever it is that you are doing. You begin to see what it is that you enjoy about those things. And much of the things that are distracting you, the things that you are not particularly liking, we're not saying deny the darkness around you, but to harmonize with it. Harmonize with those people, those keys that are just off from you.
When you say that, harmonize with that darkness around us, sometimes it's a challenge for us, because harmonizing sometimes is almost playing the drama. And it's a very difficult thing. It's a very difficult thing for us sometimes to self-discipline. And I know for me, I have asked you this before, so I would ask you one more time. An exercise, a greater discipline. For me myself, when I begin that drama, I say, stop that, don't play that game. But I still get pulled into it sometimes. Could you help me or share something with me that would strengthen for me to stop that?
When you feel these natural emotions occurring with you within yourselves as you are naturally being the human, allow yourself the emotion of anger, for instance, let it be present in you. See where that pain is coming from, for it is nagging at one of your belief systems, and deconstruct those ideas, what it is, that they may be acting in a certain way that is not in concordance of what it is that you believe in your entirety of your particular reality, and what it is that it is doing to you when you are doing these things, when you are feeling these things. So when you are feeling these things, allow the idea of transmuting this energy and understanding where the pain is truly coming from, and the details of what it is that your belief system is constructed around. Because they are showing you something. Your self is showing you something through that emotion. And then you can be able to deconstruct what that is, understand it for what it is, and then at one point, it may not be instantaneous, as there is great dastardly things that are happening all the time. You can begin to send love back for that great new understanding that you have had from that being or that encounter with whatever it is that is happening. We do say, yes, do not deny the darkness that is around you, for many have had many different experiences in their past, that they have traveled in very dark paths, but that also kind of brings someone into the light that much further. It is an expansion of both, with a denial of one, being polarized on one idea. You become not so an unlimited being. Your expansionness begins to slow down because you are in denying of something. And so you are allowing yourself to understand details, yes, and that is partly what is happening here on your earth plane. As much of the darkness is disappearing, there is getting to be less dark on your planet in different ideas, structures. It is lighting up. The wisdom is going into all those dark places, and you're becoming more and more aware of yourself. With all of those things, the constructs are lighting up. And that is a good thing. But with that lighting up, you see what is also there. And it may not be so pleasant.
Which are we at a greater good? At present, in the matter that we are, in the friction that we are, in the gravity that we are, in the dense matter that we are, or afterward when we're in pure light, after this life?
Which is the greater good?
Which are we in the greater good?
You are neither one greater good now in this very moment, or than when you have passed on. For you are the being, the leading edge. You are the inner being right now of who you are. This is an expanded part of yourself. And what if part of yourself is over there? Then what would you think then? That you may not have your entirety of who you are now in this particular physical form that you see yourself in. For if you were to look at yourself truly in this form, you would see that you are nothing but a vibrating mass. You are nothing but what Einstein would say, energy. And so is all of who you are in this particular body. It may seem that you are, but you are also connected to the infinite that is out there. Which is a beautiful thing here, because you have this great constructed veil that is somewhat dissipating each day you're here. Where the veil in many ways is starting to come down. You're beginning to understand, remembering a little more of who you are. When you die, yes, you are connected to all that there is, and you have an instant expansion of your love. And you feel that, and you are expressing but you are expressing a new kind of love in a very conditional way here on this plane of reality, for it is imperfect. It is not quite unconditional. If you look at your own relationships, you will see that there are very dynamics that create conditions on love. For instance, it is not a good or bad thing. It is that this earth plane of reality is all imperfections. Even your diamonds are worth more than the zirconium. Yes. Zirconium. Sorry, the keeper is worried about these words. They are more valuable being imperfected. And that is this whole idea of this beautiful plane, for it creates more of a diversity in this sort of way. Flavors, if you would like. If you were at an ice cream shop, it is the multi-dimensionality of all that you are here in this one form of this physical expressing model that you have all chosen for yourselves to live in. So you've had these somewhat of an idea in your creation already before your life. An idea of what it was that you wanted to create for yourself.
You're trying to tell me I really picked out this model? I'm only jesting.
You are in your own designs. And you're choosing to activate other things within your life as you are moving through. Allow yourself the experiences that you have been longing for. Some of you have buried much of your dreams, and you have believed into some other belief systems outside of you. And it is okay to do such things, but you may want to analyze yourselves in these ways. You can truly discover the gems that are already within yourselves that you have been longing to express. And for whatever reasons and belief systems, yes, this law of attraction, your heart naturally wants to be doing these things, but you're not letting yourself go towards what it was that you wanted to do from the beginning. Begin to shred some of those realities. Begin to play with some of those things. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. A keeper, he makes mistakes all the time, and he is still present for these sort of meetings. That's really.
So did you choose the keeper, or did the keeper choose you?
It's somewhat of a simultaneous relationship, for we are very close aspect to who the keeper is. And so the vibrations are very, very similar in nature. We line up quite easily in this sort of way.
Would that be true for all of us with different energies?
Yes, there would be different energies that could line up according to who you are and that you have somewhat of energies around you, guides that are around you, that have been helping you, and finding little things within your particular reality to maybe not necessarily be speaking to you directly, but maybe helping coax you in finding certain ways where you've walked in a certain way, you've gone down a certain alley, and you heard certain things at the right time to manifest, because that was there and they could show that to you. That could be a possibility, that you are also being guided for such things.
So as you transition off this plane to become light, and you choose to come back, most of it is veiled to us. Most of us. What about y'all? Do you transition? Do you come back? And are you recognized as who you were before?
Are you talking about who we particularly are and our particular...
Yes, like you, or you, one of the voices that are speaking through the keeper. Do you transition? And if you transition, do you have the option of coming back? And if you come back, do you have the veil that we on this plane have from some of our past lives?
It's not quite the same veil that you would have. We do transition, though. And we move back and forth into realities, and we have other sorts of understanding of this sort of ways. We're even allowed to transition through certain deaths. As a death would be a little more dramatic maybe here, you can travel, a transition, to be with them, tarry for a little while, and transition back. There are certain things that you can do, and not everyone has this ability here to do such things, but yes, you can transition in certain ways that way. But who it is that you are can also be recognized as well. Your own personal identity, and yes, you do plan much of this before you proceed onto a life. So you are setting up your own constructs, even what families you would like to be a part of, for the experiences that you would like to may or may not engage with. And these are somewhat contracts that are available to you, as also you are engaged with some of the ideas of death. For you have your ways out. They're not always so coincidental as you would think they are. You are actually planning ways in and out of your own existence, of what it is that is here now.
So we do have the ability and the choice to transmute even our pre-planned or pre-paved life?
Yes, you can activate or not activate certain parts of what it is that you would like to experience. For this is a free will zone. You can do much of what it is that you would like. If you were suddenly, for instance, in one career, you could change. But if you stayed in that one career, you could be expanding yourself in an entirely different way. You are activating much of what is happening here. But you have also somewhat planned some of these things, events. Your loved ones, for instance. Much in the same way.
When we pass on, will we be able to share with loved ones that have passed on before us?
Yes. You are connected to all. The infinite. It is very hard to understand what that could even mean, but yes, you are truly connected to all that is there, all there is.
Will there be a sense of humor when we pass on?
Sense of humor is one of the greatest characteristics of who you are, and you will always carry a bit of that as you're developing your own dynamics of what that is here.
Can you describe the infinite a little bit more for us, that we could digest that, have a deeper understanding of what that means, what that is?
The human being understands certain things through the vibration that awareness that you are in. Again, we have mentioned the eyes, the ears, it's all vibrations, the touch that you feel, textures. You are interacting with this vibrationary place, this plane of reality. And so you only perceive things that are in this narrow vibration of who you are. To try to explain what is there, what is in the dark matter, for instance, of your universe, as you would be spinning out of control if this wasn't here. Your scientists are very baffled by this, by the way. It is a natural construction of what it is that you have in this bell. This is part of those things. The light vibrations that you are not even aware of, that is happening even in this conversation here, the timings, the rhythms, all the sorts of things that are happening simultaneously around you. That sort of construct is not able to be understood from a human perspective in many different degrees intentionally, so that you can have this experience where you feel as though you do not know who you are, and you are a being of a human being of nature that is trying to understand itself. Trying to find what is God. And it is a very beautiful thing, and it is an expression throughout this reality that you live in with all the different religions of what it is that God is. And how you are expressing and how you are understanding yourself through each other. The mirrors that are put up constantly in front of you. You are beginning to see your own dynamics in this interesting free will zone of imperfection. Very beautiful. So to understand the great vastness of the infinite is quite a leap from where you are now. For even time, what is time infinitely? It is very hard for this way of thinking with a linear time of looking at everything. For time is more of a circle, of more of a round globe that you are encountering over and over again, creating your own time imprints now, as you are living this life, living this moment, changing both the future and your past.
So, what would, for you, what is your definition or your explanation of that word God?
The infinite intelligence, the creating being of all that there is, and being in connection with that, and being part of the dynamics of all of that. All things, in a sense, are part of the divine, part of the sacredness of what that description is. It's an interesting way of looking at God in the perspective, because humans have so many different versions of the same sort of meaning of what God is. Just like if you were to look at certain things that are happening interpreted very differently. You have a variety of many different definitions of what God is. We don't simply like to use the word because of the vast arrays of ways it's looked at, but more in the sense that you are connected in the ways of how you are creating your masterpiece of your life. What precedes you as you are tapped into that infinite way of being. You're all beautiful creators here.
So in that infinite, is there also an infinite kaleidoscope of color and light? If you were able to grasp many dimensions at the same time.
There may be an infinite cascades of light. For instance, your own color wheel is not completed. For they kind of skip over a portion that they don't quite understand just to create the loop. And it is, again, the vibrations that you are picking up. But as new dimensions are being understood, new light that was not there before, new vibrations that was not detected before, and as the expansionness of this universe is, there are seemingly, we are not even sure how many dimensions are out there. For there are so many. And so there are different understandings of the vibrations that are there in terms of what you may call light. For some, light is very coded differently. The wavelengths are much different.
You mean Earth isn't the center of the universe?
Again, we would say you, my dear, are the center of your perspective of your universe.
Darn.
Oh, that's great.
When we pass on, do we always come back and live again on this earth? Do we
Some
have a
may
choice?
choose such a thing, but you have traveled your light many different places throughout the galaxies. You have transversed much here. What did you do before this earth was in reality? Interesting ideas now. You've lived many different experiences before this time. You have transmuted and grown that light within yourselves. Each of you have taken on your own new experiences. And it's hard to see such things when you have just a small amount of time that you are living in this interesting world that you have around here, gaining your own mastery of what it is that this life is to you. Understanding spirituality through a new way.
Would you ever consider taking on a body here?
I don't think I would.
Why not?
It's hard to say such things because we are thinking in our own ways and dynamics that we would have a struggle with certain aspects of how it is that you live your lives in your particular ways. With the dramas that are happening here, with the certain things and the aspects that are coming forward. But it is a beautiful time, I will say that. As you watch this planet grow in its infinite ways, you are doing something very unique here. With the expansionness of humanity moving together is not something we were expecting. To the great degrees that you have been able to do this.
Has our planet been helping us with that? Someone recently told me that the Earth, much like our physical bodies, the Earth has chakras, and that Boise is, there was an opening of the heart chakra here. It closed somewhere else and opened here. So is our planet supporting us and that coming together?
The planet would consider you the most precious parts of the planet, even though you see yourselves many times as the parasites on this planet. But you are coexisting with a planet that is being patient of you and understanding of you and your personal needs. And as you feel within yourselves what is going on, the pollutions that are happening within your personal bodies, your own chakras, if you would like to call these energy centers as such, yes, the planet has its own chakra systems that are happening. As you are connected, you are one with this planet. So as you feel with the chaos that is happening within yourselves, whether it is your stomach or any other types of organs that are happening, you are also understanding the planet the same way. So pay attention to how you are feeling and what is going on in your life, for the whole mass of the people that is on this planet are all part of the hum of what it is that this vibration of this planet is and what this planet is putting off. It is all connected in the very same ways. As you are not separate, as though you feel that you may be in the center of this Boise area to nature, for instance, you are connected very divinely so, although you do put your own restrictions and you do somewhat stay in your own areas. You're creating different sort of realities because of these different ideas that you are disconnected from such. As you are able to harmonize more with the planet, you'll begin to harmonize more with yourselves. You'll begin to heal much of what is going on with the chaos, with the pollutants, with the certain things that have harmful effects for the both.
Is there, they call it the gem state. Is there something different about this area, chaotic about this area because of all the gyms here?
We wouldn't necessarily say that there's something more chaotic about this particular district, this state.
Or area?
You are here in this particular area, each of you, for your own designs, for your own ways of learning what was here on this particular area of Earth. You are taking in these certain vibrations that are available in this area. This is an energy that you have all chosen. It may not be a constant one where you will stay this particular place, but it is what is comfortable now.
So when you were talking earlier, when the question was asked if this was the heart chakra opening up of the planet, and you stated that maybe I misunderstood, but it was almost like I heard you say, we as people, we create or we perceive. If we perceive something, then that's what it is to us. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what it is to the planet.
And that is a very good sense of looking at that situation. Yes. It is more of a sense of what it is that it means to you. The meaning of what everything is vibrationally is what gives you meaning to what your experience is. For two people could experience the same thing, and what one person takes from it may be a negative emotion, and another person a positive emotion watching the same event happen. It is the meaning behind much of this, and not necessarily the idea that a heart chakra is or is not opening, but it is the meaning, what it is for the people that are surrounding the idea of it. For there is an energy exchange then that is happening. So we won't say that the heart chakra is opening here or is not, for the meanings of two different vibrations are going to give off two different ideas.
So is that even how some changes happen with the planet, with Gaia? Because we are Gaia?
You are one in the sense, as you are a human being, as you are a Gaian. In the sense that you are walking, you are in these models that are most designed to get around this particular planet as you see fit. You are in the sense of there are different kingdoms of plants and there is different kingdoms of minerals. You are one of the ways that light can be most grounded through your bodies and your particular way of perceiving things. And so you, as a being of light, as a being, a human being, you are more connected than most creatures. Have the ability to take on more consciousness and expand yourselves, and that is why you are the most precious thing that is here on this earth. Before you are in the animal kingdom, where we don't quite say that you are an animal in any sort of way, but you are a being of the most integral parts of this earth, and you are able to express most deeply and attract most deeply. And so this is what we mean by you are very connected to the earth in this way. She is waiting. We say she, it's a sentient being, meaning both. Waiting for the expansionness of this earth. And you have done a great job to settle some of this chaos and not to be so much in the fear mode and to express and trust who it is that you are. And as that is happening now, as the expressions of many more standing up and not being led by a very select few, as people are beginning to step up into their own power, empowerment, much more is changing on a rapid pace. And the voices are being heard a little more. It may not seem that way now, but you will see as you look back now what it meant to be choosing and taking ownership of your responsibility now, of who it is and the dynamics you would like to express.
So the uniting and the power of love opposed to fear
that will bring harmony to all things. Love is one of those languages that is not such a struggle as it would be as we try to express these things to you. Love is a universal language that you can feel with animals. You can feel with the expressions of going out and even understanding the earth this way. The more unconditional you can bring love here is going to be the expansionness of part of who you are. And what joys that you enjoy may not be the same as another person. It's okay. Expand on what it is that your flavor that you enjoy is.
That word unconditional is a very big pill to swallow, isn't it?
Yes, quite. Quite a big leap for some, yes. It is seeing things with the eyes of Source, the eyes with the Source energy that you are. With an expanded look on what it is that you are as a creator, as you are taking your own responsibility, your thoughts into consideration, and what it is that you would like to take in from what your situations are, and take in within yourselves. You're taking on life forces every day as you eat, and you do much of this when you're thinking. We ask you to start monitoring more of this focus that you have. For you're going to bring more to your life in this way. You are naturally always expanding yourselves these ways. Just start monitoring more. Take responsibility and see what you can find in the good. And see how much more you can find. See how much more joy you can squeeze out of those situations that you enjoy. And see if you can find more of them more often. And you'll begin to see the synchronicities line up for each of you. I hope you can feel the love that we are expressing here. It has been quite an honor to be expressing.
As always, it's been quite an honor to be in this presence in this moment because you have truly enriched it.
Do we have any more questions?
Earlier you mentioned something about time is being condensed. Can you elaborate on that?
In some ways, time is being compressed as you are entering somewhat of a portal right now in this compression of time. For as you enter a portal, it's wide at the very top. As you go into it, it becomes more narrow, more compressed, more things are happening. And that's what you would be seeing in the last few hundred years with your inventions and things. Time is compressing in certain ways that you are able to do so much more with the same amount of time. And you are expanding so much more on yourselves in the same amount of time. For it used to be much longer periods of time where things were understood, learned. Ideas took much longer to be grounded, to be here. It is not happening the same now. As vibration is rising, you are able to take on more of the light that is around you. And you are connecting into those source energies that you particularly are. And so you can connect to these things on a much faster pace. So you're able to take on and do more with this time. Time is compressing in that sort of way. Does that help?
Very much so, thank you. And I feel it. Not always in a good way.
I thought it was because we're getting older.
No,
Vibrations are happening so quickly that you see also relationships are separating all over the earth. That sort of way. It's the vibrational changes. It used to be more steady in a certain way. It used to be somewhat more stagnant, but that's not even the right word that we are trying to express here. It took a longer period of time for things to change, but things are changing rapidly. You are changing more rapidly. And so these wavelengths of who you are, it will seem more stable as you begin to anchor new places. It used to be that you anchored into one sort of place and you stayed there. Now it feels more comfortable to move with the energy of who you are, moving to each direction and be chasing these things that you want to be doing. And as you do that, you will suddenly feel more of an anchoring overall. And that's one of the great changes that is happening here.
Thank you.
So it's actually designed as it speeds up. It's almost going to be like the theory of a top. When a top is spinning, when it's spinning its fastest, that's when it's got its greatest balance and doesn't look like it's moving, but it's moving very fast actually. So there's a sense of balance. That's with time speeding up everything we're doing, the energy, we're actually creating a greater balance then.
Yes, and
Vibrationally, it's
you are taking in much more as the energy spins much faster. And yes, this energy field that we were talking about, the tube torus, is one that you are spinning. Each of you have and are spinning naturally your own tube torus of energies that are here. And as you are spinning them faster, and especially if you include your love, you can bring a lot more great, more powerful things as things are coming in and dropping in to your reality, as you are perceiving your own thoughts, digesting them, and manifesting them into your reality. And it becomes a quicker process.
So does the cycle that our planet's been going through for the last many thousand years, where we're coming up to a new cycle, or it coming back to a place where it's been before, is that a component in what
Somewhat of both. There is an echo of time that is happening here, where there has been somewhat of a transition of energies, and this is partly what is happening here. A transition of energy is happening, and your new expansionness of who it is that a human being is beginning to change. It's not quite the old paradigm that was before. It is a new age of a new type of human. What that will mean is only going to be constructed by you as the humans, as you decide what that will mean for you. It is your designing of your energy that is creating this.
Thank you. We again, this has been an honor as always.
It's been our pleasure.
You have so enriched it.
We would like to leave you with the idea, a very simple one: follow your bliss. Each of you have it. That is the heart that we were talking about before. Just allow that to come forward more in your lives. And so it is.
So it is.